Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like, people need to watch the video or Ben will cry because he's gone to all this effort for no reason.
Honestly, please, guys, leave a like, leave a subscribe, like, share, like, do whatever the fuck you need, because I'm having mental breakdown.
This man won't carry on.
We're neither experts, we're no psychologists. All we are is a couple that has lived through all of the experiences.
Self-professed great relationship. Yeah. But do you know what? Like, I laugh and joke that like I'm saying it like that, but this is honestly the first time in my life that I can actually say that.
A healthy relationship is when you feel you can be yourself.
A safe space where you can both grow as individuals and become better people from being together. Love doesn't need to be shit.
Your podcast on how to create a healthy relationship with Evie and Ben. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your podcast for a healthy relationship. Welcome to Love Doesn't Always Need to Be Shit.
Oh, we've got an extra word in there now, have we?
Could you say it correctly?
Love doesn't need to be shit.
Love absolutely doesn't need to be shit. Good.
It really doesn't.
It really doesn't. And we'll tell you why. But first we're gonna start with a little bit of an introduction. My name is Ben.
My name's Evie.
Oh, pleasure to meet you, Evie. Where are you from?
Hello, Cilla Black. A reference for anyone from England.
In case you couldn't hear.
I am from Manchester.
Woo! Clap it up for Manchester, I'd say.
And you, my love?
The Manchester Bee and the Swiss Chocolate Factory. I'm from Switzerland. I'm always trying to be funny, but I never achieve my goals.
That's the best intro that you could give. That's way more important than age, location.
Which we don't care about, do we? I am rarely funny, and you guys should be aware of my lack of jokes. Good jokes. I have a lot of jokes, right?
Yeah.
Loads.
They're just very bad.
No comment on that. But yeah, we've already recorded this episode once.
Maybe twice, maybe 3 times.
Maybe 3 times. Come on. But do you know what they say? 4 is the magic number.
3rd time's the charm.
Exactly. So yeah, we're here today to start our podcast journey. Wait. Sorry. Did I just say podcast?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. We didn't take all this effort on us just to have a podcast.
No, that would have been a piece of piss.
100%. Only audio. No. We also provide you the finest video quality because we have not only 1, not only 2, but 3 cameras. So, guys, you don't only get to listen to our episodes, you can even watch them. Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, everyone can see how beautiful your hair is.
Thank you. Wait, that was sarcastic?
Yeah.
Anyways. Okay. Well, my hair will definitely play a role at some point again. Well, today we're here to start the intro episode of Why Love Doesn't Need to Be Shit. My God. Love doesn't need to be shit. Here we go. And, well, I wanted to dive in straight, directly, without anything else. You said, hold back your horses.
Give people a bit of an overview as to what they can expect before we start talking about being experts on topics like trust and communication.
Which we're not. We're neither experts. We're no psychologists. All we are is a couple that has lived through all of the experiences and has come to the conclusion that our relationship is absolute finest. It's mint.
It's gold.
It's gold. It's sound. It's more than sound.
So self-professed great relationship.
Yeah.
But do you know what? Like, I laugh and joke that like I'm saying it like that, but this is honestly the first time in my life that I can actually say that. Every other relationship I've been in, like, I know it's been bad, but it's kind of like this acceptance that that's just what relationships are.
Which you don't have to. You don't have to accept that a relationship, when it doesn't feel right, that it is what you get and there's nothing else outside, which we want to show you. We want to show you with our podcast that there's more to a relationship than just be like, nah, all right, doesn't feel great, but I guess this is how it is.
Yeah, or like I'm miserable, but maybe it's me. It's like, no, two people play a part in this. So, and also to not have the expectation that you need to find someone when you're in your 20s and settle down with them, and then that's that.
You've been in relationships that weren't good.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Let's call it.
Let's call it that I was going through my 20s. I thought that relationships just had to be a certain way. Couldn't set my own boundaries. Didn't really have that level of self-worth to know when to walk away. Saw a lot of my friends that were also in pretty shit relationships, and we all just went, yeah, but every time we'd have a conversation, we'd be like, but it is what it is, isn't it?
Right. You'd be like, oh, what? Yours the same. Oh, I guess then that's normal.
Yeah, I'm scared my boyfriend might be cheating on me. Yeah, me too, but like, we're probably just insecure. Like, no. It does not. Relationships do not have to be like that. In fact, they should not be like that.
And what led you to this conclusion?
Well, this lovely Swiss man entered my life.
Aww.
And seemed to have a really healthy relationship with himself, was pretty secure, was pretty able to voice his own needs. And also, if I expressed my needs, my thoughts, my considerations, my preferences, has been very active in making sure that we build a relationship together based on factors that are important to both of us and that are going to work. And I feel like actually now that I've learned that you can do these things, I'm in a healthy relationship, and actually dare I say it, the happiest I've ever been.
Oh, how sweet. That's lovely. But love, I have to keep in mind, like, I have to remind you that I can only do 50% of the work. You did the other 50%. So it's not just me, it's us. But thank you. I really appreciate that. And I am in a relationship that feels the best to me. Like, I've never been in a relationship that felt better than this. I feel like I can live my life independently. I feel like I can develop. I can be myself around you, no matter how I am. I don't have to hold back. As a matter of fact, it's quite the opposite. I don't hold back. I tell you everything in order to keep that plant we've planted growing and getting stronger.
Yeah. And I think, we'll get into the depths of this, and this is what the conversations throughout this podcast will be about. But this is the essential thing, is to know that if you A, get to know yourself and what's important to you, and B, can be in a relationship where you can openly express those things whilst respecting the other person, that's when you'll really grow together and create something healthy.
100%. Well, talking about that, we've planted a seed. At some point, we started a relationship. And I want to tell our listeners and viewers the story real quickly, how we met, because I think it's quite special.
Yeah, every time we tell anyone, they're like, wait, what?
Yeah, I know. So I quit my job. I went traveling for a year. That was the plan. And 2 months into my travels, almost 3, I met Evie. I met Evie at a party in Mexico, and we barely spoke that night. We were too occupied kissing each other.
Yeah, let's say that physical attraction is...
It was definitely there, wasn't it? Yeah.
But obviously it can lead to something else. So.
It felt really good. Like, I didn't think much of it at the time. But then we saw each other again the day after that at the party the next night. And we had a bit of a chat. And that bit of a chat led to a dinner.
Date.
Yeah, a dinner night the following day, and the coffee date the day after that. And after these few days of dating, we had a week.
You invited me to Sayulita.
Yeah, basically, I asked her if we could meet again because I really wanted to see her again. And then we met like 2 weeks later for a whole week. We met with some friends, so we weren't just. It wasn't just us two.
Which I think is also a healthy way to start a relationship, is to make sure that you have your own ability to step back and have some space and talk to people about things, work out how you're feeling, and not just be head over heels.
Mm-hmm.
Which I probably was less so than you.
Maybe.
No, by the end I wasn't.
Maybe. No, but honestly, like we discussed a lot during that week. We set the foundation. We mainly we agreed, or we had a chat, like overall, if you and if I wanted to continue putting the effort in order to get to know each other.
Which actually was quite a nice checkpoint. And it also, I feel like, because we had that time pressure, it meant that there was no holding back.
Exactly.
It was very much there's nothing to lose here. Like, let's expose all of our needs, wants, desires, and be super honest with each other. And I feel like that led to the start of a very healthy dynamic.
Yeah, which also helps, like either yes or no. That's not in between, like, yeah, we'll go for now, but...
Yeah, like, this feels the time, like, it's probably not quite what I want, but like,
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, that's not the right way to do it.
Yeah.
After that week and us deciding that we wanted to continue getting to know each other and date each other, you went onto a different path and I went onto a different path.
We just travelled in different parts of the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For 3 months. During these 3 months, we had numerous calls, almost every day, for at least an hour, talking with each other, discussing things, sharing values, sharing ideas.
Sharing books that we were reading.
Yeah.
Work that we were doing ourselves.
Thoughts we had, thoughts about relationships, reflections we had on things, on behaviors, all sorts of things. And after 3 months, we met again, still in Latin America, but in Colombia. And basically from then on, we didn't spend, like, we haven't spent more than like maybe a week or 2 weeks from apart each other.
Yeah, we've we've essentially gone from completely long distance to living together.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Which is treating us quite well.
It is. It really is. I feel like it's a fantastic experience. And I feel like I've learned a lot still. You know, like as much as you praised me at the beginning and say, oh, you felt so reflected and knowing who you are and decisive. Yes. But there's always, like, as time continues, you continue to exist. So you still have to continuously reflect on who you are and where you want to go and what you want to be.
Yeah, honestly, this is one of the things that I feel like we also forget, is that we're constantly growing and learning and getting to know ourselves. Never mind then having a partner to share that with and go on that journey together. It's kind of like, I'm always like, if you enjoy what you do, it's not work, but the work is never done.
Yeah, exactly. Which leads us to the goal of this podcast. So, what is... always checking the cameras.
I know, this will be the most eye contact you've ever seen me make with the camera.
We're a bit paranoid now, but it has to be. Putting the work in is the key word. What's the goal of this podcast?
So, I think we both have aligned goals, because the overall aim that we both have is to share with other people what a healthy relationship actually looks like in practice, so people have those tools and techniques and those examples. And I don't expect to transform people's relationships, but what I hope for is that by two normal people, I'm looking at you because I think you're a bit weird, but two relatively normal people sharing their views as to what a healthy relationship is, and we don't really hold back.
Yeah.
We share everything. Like, people know if our relationship's going well. They know when we've had fights. Like, people know it's not always perfect. And I think when you go and speak to friends, sometimes you don't see that. Everyone's trying to like cover up and pretend their relationship is okay. And it's super important for people to have a space where you can really listen to and understand what dynamics are like. So whether you are single, whether you've just started a relationship, whether you're deep into your relationship but there's some things that you want to change, hopefully this is a source of inspiration to start those conversations and think about different ways of doing things. And I know that I definitely needed this, like I say, when I was in relationships and was in my 20s before, because I had no clear, obvious role model as to what good looked like. So I kept putting myself through scenarios that weren't good and went through a lot of heartache and went through a lot of like things that have brought me to where I am now, because I've done that self-development work and I've managed to improve things. But it's like, I just feel like people really need to know that there's hope out there, and literally love doesn't have to be shit.
Yeah, fair play.
Follow on from that, love. Why do you want to do this podcast?
I was just thinking about like what is the goal or why, which are similar things but a bit different. So the goal of this podcast for me is to build a community that helps each other, where people feel free to share their experiences and tools and tips and tricks they've learned during their relationships, things that helped, but also things they would never do again. So it's like, oh, well, no, I've learned from that mistake, basically, like these kind of things. So kind of like a safe space where people feel like they can share these experiences, and where they actually don't have to keep up these appearances.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was talking about goals. What my goal is, or what I see as the goal of this podcast.
Yeah.
And I said, for one, use the tools, but also for two, it's for us to have time to talk about our topics we anyways have talked about in the past, but like can revise, kind of like we can speak about them again, but in a different form, because we will not chat to each other but about it. So
yeah, and honestly I feel like that's super helpful sometimes, is to remove yourself from that scenario, and it's not personal. We're talking about our views on a topic as an impartial person, because it's advice that we'd give to someone else. So I feel like that really will help us get into the details as to what's important to each other.
Yeah, I think so too. So yeah, usually we will have some sort of scenario we've experienced or we heard about, some sort of like what you face in a relationship that doesn't feel healthy, that feels rather like shit. And we'll take this problem and try to cut to the chase and put tools and strategies and tactics into place where you can actually tackle these problems. So one example would be if you don't like when your partner goes out with his or her mates, because you have this weird feeling, which is a lack of trust. You have to trust your partner that he or she makes the right decision, either for or against you. But it doesn't help if you're sitting there worrying or being jealous or over controlling. Why are you looking at me like that?
Because I'm like, yeah, we'll cover this off. Like, I don't need to get into the details now about my thoughts and opinions.
I was just thinking
but you can already tell that, like, we'll always have slightly different takes on these things. And I feel like that's the healthy part of this, is that we have our own backgrounds, we have our own lenses on what's important and what isn't. And fundamental principles which we agree on, which means that we can have this healthy relationship, but we can also have the conversation about like why we think these things occur, what elements we think are important, and how, like, giving people some tools, some tips, some advice, some different takes and different insights, and also exposing how you can have that conversation with your partner, because obviously, I mean, I'm not saying we don't see eye to eye, but it's really interesting that we have slightly different thoughts on some of the reasons and the views behind some of these topics.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's interesting and exciting to see and hear your views and takeaways on all of the things. Well, after we share our views and our 10 cents about things, we will talk about how to tackle them and try to give you tools at hand how to overcome or solve problems. Here we go.
The man has run out of English words.
Honestly, it's not working anymore. An important part of this podcast is also the community aspect. I want to create this safe space for our listeners, for our viewers, but it also means that I want to raise engagement. And I want to do this with two things. The first thing will be a community quest. So every episode, because it's not just about listening, it's also about getting into the doing. I want to put out a community quest. So whatever the problem is or the situation, to actively try and do a certain thing. Small.
So everyone can take some tiny steps to better their relationship.
Exactly. But get your hands dirty.
In a nice way.
In a nice way, yeah. Exactly.
In a way that you'll be very thankful for.
Exactly. In a way that you and your partner feel that you can really benefit from what you've heard. That's the first thing. And the second thing is I want to throw out community questions. I want to hear from you guys what you think, what you've experienced, what good things you've learned, what bad things you've learned, what things you would repeat, what things you would never do again in the same way. So I want to create this space with our community, and I want to build this community.
Yeah, so everyone can add to the conversation, share, provide different viewpoints, make sure that this becomes a conversation.
Exactly. So yeah, with that being said, I just want to add what ChatGPT I'll put it.
I feel like it's such a lad thing to be like, well, I don't know, like obviously everyone's using ChatGPT, but to be like, okay, so like now no conversation can be had without ChatGPT input.
Yeah.
As if like we never had opinions before we could ask the internet. Anyway, do you know what? I'm ripping you here, but like ChatGPT has got some good answers for this, so I'll let you go ahead.
All right. So I asked ChatGPT, what is a healthy relationship? And the things it came up with
were exactly the same as what you think.
Not exactly. Not exactly. So I wouldn't copy them one to one. But for the most part, I was like, do you know what? Not bad. Like this gives our viewers and listeners at least some sort of picture about what we actually talk about and what the ultimate goal is of a relationship or a healthy relationship. So that no one is just like, oh, what is this actually? Like we're working on a healthy relationship, but what does that mean?
And like, why does Ben know what a healthy relationship is?
Yeah, why does this Swiss man know what a healthy relationship is? All right. So ChatGPT told me that a healthy relationship is about trust and transparency. It is about support and empathy. It's about effective communication, mutual respect, quality time together. It's about conflict resolution. It's about maintaining independence. It's about sharing values and goals. It's about continuously learning things. And it's about expressing love and affection.
And if you had to summarize what you thought a healthy relationship was, what would you have said?
I'd said a healthy relationship is when you feel you can be yourself with your partner and you're happy. When you feel respected, when you feel valued, and when you can trust your partner. When you feel like everything that your partner says, you can just take for what it is, without second guessing if this is actually what the partner wanted to say. This is for me like more or less like on a very high level what a healthy relationship looks like. A lot of things derive from that.
Yeah.
What would it be for you?
My summary would be that a healthy relationship is a safe space where you can both grow as individuals and become better people from being together. Sometimes you'll always bring out the worst in each other, but for the most part, you will grow and develop as individuals and together.
Yeah.
And I feel like the safe space is made up of a bunch of those factors. So, yeah, these are the bits that we'll get into.
Yeah. All the exciting things ahead. I'm just checking if I've forgotten anything we want to say.
Honestly, we've had this conversation so many times that I can't tell you if we covered it all on this take or another one.
I have absolutely zero idea.
But
You know what? This is the first episode. If we've made any sort of like
sense,
hopefully we did that. But if you guys feel like we forgot something, we should add anything, let us know. Let us write a comment, send us a message, like just get in touch with us.
And like we can shape this together. Like
Exactly.
we can shape this based on things that people say to us, like this topic's super important, or like I really care about this. We can discuss some of these things.
Exactly.
Any questions, any comments, we're open.
Also, this podcast / this vlogcast lives because of the community. So please, it would mean the world to me. Share the podcast to all the people you feel like need to listen to it. To all the people that think love is kind of shit. Share and spread the word that love doesn't need to be shit. It can be different. That you know two fantastic people that help and show you how to create a healthy relationship.
That's what we're here for.
Innit? Honestly.
Things that I never thought I'd be doing in my life, but here we are. A lot can change in over a year.
Yeah, exactly. So guys, we are available wherever, if we haven't said that yet. Podcast, YouTube, you'll find us. And the next episode will be about trust.
Yeah, we'll be getting straight into the details.
Yeah. And if you want to have us talking about any sort of discussion of topic, let us know.
We already said that.
Right, doesn't hurt if I say it twice, does it? Honestly. I had a hard and long day. Please, love.
I'm ready for our last steak and wine in Argentina.
Yeah. All right, guys. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for listening. And see you in the next episode. That does hopefully work out better than this one.
Yeah, we'll go into a bit more detail about why love doesn't have to be shit.
Sweet. Until then, enjoy and have a great time. Oh my God.
Your girl now has a glass of wine.
It just doesn't stop. Guys,
This little YouTube vlogger. I don't think this vlogcast was meant to be.
yeah, it's bad.
It's not. It's great. We get to keep talking about relationships. Isn't that fantastic?
That is fantastic. It's just technical difficulties are always like such a pain in the ass.